Iowa Debris and Jennifer Lopez on talent.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Cake Radio Show. I'm the CakeDive. Y'all, if you're listening to me already, y'all already know about me. If not, subscribe to the channel, please. Cause yeah. But we're gonna drop this late episode of the vlogs, but it's like we're on time. It's still the 12th episode of vlogs, but it's 12th day, 12th episode. But it's relatively late compared to when I usually upload, so we'll see how this does. But we're gonna talk about Normani today, y'all. So for those who've been following Normani, or following me on the channel, y'all know Normani released her debut studio album, Dopamine, in the summer. Was it the summer? She released it earlier this year. And, girls have been talking, the girls have been liking the album, girls have been streaming the album, but the girls have been questioning a lot of things about the album. They're like, where's the music videos at? We ain't got no visualizers. We get teasers for the music videos, but nothing's happening. You have some people saying that there's no rollout going on here. And throughout, the rollout of this album that people have been saying there hasn't been a rollout of, I've been covering the rollout. I was covering the singles. I was covering, the listening party. I talked about the listening party. I reviewed the album. Talked about the interviews that she was doing for the album, and gave my 2 cents. It turned out to be 25 cents the way that those videos was given on the rollout and stuff like that. And months have passed. We're near the year, and there hasn't really been too much sense. I gotta admit, there hasn't been too much sense. And the girls have been using the album as a butt of a joke, being like, Normani just really put that album out and just disappeared. She was like, here now. But I think either last month or 2 months ago, we had the RNBx performance with Spotify, in which she was giving us the things. I looked at some of the clips from the performance. I was a little upset that I couldn't go, but it wasn't meant to be. But she was giving the things. A lot of people were talking about the performance. Now I will say, we might need to get Sean back. We might need to get some of the another dancer back to do some of the choreography, because while some of the dances and some of the choreo on the RNBx performance was cute, some of it was it felt a step backwards for Normani. And I can give her a little bit of grace because it's the first time in a while that she's really hit the stage. Because the last time we had her hit the stage was, it's been a minute, and dance has been a minute. It's been a while. Wild Side, I think, was the last time we had her really hit the stage like that. And then she was supposed to hit the stage months ago for the BET Awards this year. She was supposed to be a part of the Usher tribute performance with everybody who was there, like Keke Palmer and Chloe, Coco Jones and everybody like that. And she pulled out near last minute, saying that she experienced an injury while performing, and that she feels really bad about not being able to perform and stuff like that. And I know some people were dragging her for that, and it's all right, y'all, that's a little crazy. I get that y'all want a performance, and I get that y'all want her to really be the pop girl, and she is the pop girl. Don't get it wrong, the music is giving, but at some point, it gets to a point you gotta slow down a little bit if you really just you gotta listen to yourself. If you really saying oh, this lady has injured herself, but I don't give a fuck, she needs to hit that stage, that's kind of crazy. And that's how we lose pop stars. So it's been giving. Since then, it's been a little bit quiet. we did see, you know, the snippets of her filming some more music videos and the girls being like, where's the music videos at? And then we had the RNBx performance, which I talked about earlier. And recently, the reason why I wanted to do this episode is two major, well, kind of major developments popped up. One, Normani did a collaboration with Khalid, her second collaboration with Khalid since, I believe, Love Lies for the Love Simon soundtrack. And she collabed with him on his deluxe album with Sincere on the song called Personal. And a lot of people were excited for the track to come out. I actually talked about the track a few episodes ago on the Cake Radio Show. If you haven't listened, you should definitely check it out. But I talked about how much I enjoyed the track, how I wish it was a little bit longer, and most importantly, she was given what needed to be gave with that visualizer. Like, that was the first visualizer that we've gotten from her since the Dopamine First Dose teaser, which had the snippet of, you know, the 159 music video or visualizer, whatever it ends up being, and those things. And the girls was talking about it. The girls was like, oh, like, Khaled's putting Normani to work, or like, this is crazy, this is going to be the first visualizer that we've gotten from Normani, da 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 da. And it's like, all right. Like, it gets to a point, y'all. It gets to a point. And it's like, it's fair. Like, I get that y'all want, like, a bigger era for Dopamine. Like, I want a bigger era. Like, don't get me wrong, I want a bigger era for Dopamine too. Like, I love the music videos. But I think it's clear to me that, one, I talked about this before in previous episodes, there's definitely in like interference involving with the label. But I also think that Normani has bigger things in plans, like bigger things in mind with the Dopamine era, which is taking longer than expected to. And I think the reason might be because, like, I think she thought that she was going to have a little bit more time rolling out this album than she ended up doing. Like, I think for a lot of people who are part of Nation, or a lot of people who are like even casually listening to Normani, I think it's very clear if you even doing like some basic deep dives, because like, I wouldn't necessarily, like, it took me a little bit for me to really like lean into like really like being a fan and rocking with Normani. And like, it also took me a little bit of research during like the earlier era of like the Cake Radio Show when I was doing the Dopamine era coverage, for me to like look and be like, well, oh, like, a lot of the songs that Normani has been like making for Dopamine, she's had some of these songs done for years. And like, some of these songs, like very few, like a very small handful of these songs are like recent songs for her. Like, she's been kind of like making these songs and like sitting on them and tinkering on them for a minute, because it's taken so long for her to come out with this body of work. And part of it is like, obviously, like, things happen like with life, and she talked about her, you know, the things that she experienced with her family, and, you know, just life things happening like that. And then also the label impact as well, which she hasn't talked about, but it's very evident that the label has had some interference. Because, like, let's be clear, this ain't your regular label. This is RCA. You know, everyone talks about the RCA curse when the artists, like, it seems like everyone forgets about the RCA curse when it comes to Normani, because I thought we was all on the same page that the RCA curse is like a real thing and exists. But anyways, it's clear that the songs were made for a minute, but the visual portion of things were being made fairly recent, because I think only fairly recently, you know, Normani was probably given the green light to release the debut album, and she probably was like, oh, okay, like, we gotta do this and this and this and that and figure out how we're gonna do things. And, you know, it seems like overall this era, she's definitely been a lot more consistent in like how she's moving in response to like how people are responding to the album. And like, she still gives a lot of love to her fans. She even mentions like, oh, like, I do, like, she does see, you know, the fans talking about, you know, the visuals and stuff like that. And it hasn't been as rocky as like leading up to the debut album, in which like she would always be like, oh, the album's coming out and it's coming out this year, and it doesn't come out this year, type beat. or like I'm working on the album, it's almost done, and stuff like that. Like it hasn't been as inconsistent like it was in developing the album, getting the album released compared to now when the album is here. And she's talking about like a tour. She's always been consistent with like being like, "Oh, I'm going on tour. I'll see you on tour." And it's been the wording and the language that she uses when referring to that is a lot more consistent than it was, when talking about the album rollout. When it comes to the visuals, she's not giving us a date as to when she's releasing visuals. She just says the visuals are coming. Yes, the visuals are coming. I'm working on it. Just give me a little bit. I think that and it does show like a little bit of growth and a little bit of awareness, because it's definitely going to be hard to give false promises. Plus, like if you give false promises, people just make you out to be a liar. We can't forget that people make SZA out to be a liar, because one, she is a little bit of a pathological liar, and we do see stuff like the cake situation. But on the other hand, like a lot of people are looking at her and calling her a liar just because of the fact that when it comes to the album world, especially with like SOS and the Lux Lana that's coming out, the response and like language that she's had between like releasing those albums and those projects have been fairly inconsistent, and things have changed throughout development. And while we do also have to factor in that like there is label and management involved, like issues that she's had to experience with, because we have seen we have seen her talk about how like Punch and TDE and RCA have given her like issues with making SOS and releasing SOS. And there's also like video footage of her literally being upset with like Punch and RCA about like their like how they were behaving during the development of the album, the rollout of the album, and how she wanted it out. So in the fact that like now that the album's out, like SZA is really up there as an artist. So the fact that like people saw that and are like, oh, like SZA, like people are still like, oh, well, there's some people who have like realized like, oh shit, like SZA was right, like maybe this is the label, and like the RCA curse is really a thing. But they turn around and forget about that with Normani. It's kind of crazy. That, or some people forget about it and they're just like, oh, like this is a liar type thing. Like I think SZA wants these projects out. It's just that one, it takes a little bit to develop these projects, and two, I think there's some issues in behind the scenes that we don't see. But I think that we're gonna get the visuals from Normani. Circling back to her, I think we're getting the visuals. I feel like we might be getting like a visual project. Like it's giving like Beyonce T's No Shade. Like it's giving like we're getting a visual film, because there are multiple music videos that are shot. I don't know if it's me being too hopeful, but I feel like the reason it's taking so long is because she wants to release, like she wants to record, and she has said in interviews that this is a visual album. Like she was making like DOPAMINE with the mindset of, oh, like how would this song look like and sound like on stage, or like how would this look like in a music video? Because again, Normani is known for her visuals. That's why people are asking for visuals. Like people remember, the music video for Motivation and Wild Side, and like the performances for those songs, because of the fact that there's a lot of incredible imagery and attention to detail and just incredible choreography and dancing with those visuals. So she knows that. And I think that she, again, if what she's saying is true, I feel like, and I hope I don't wake her tea up to the point where she tries scrapping this shit. We need this. But I think the reason it's taking so long is because she is making a film. Like she's recording the music videos for every single song off DOPAMINE. Like I think that's why it's taking so long, because I think that she is trying to finance and produce and record and shoot every single song off of DOPAMINE, and either she'll release them all at once, or she's going to release the music videos like that, in pieces. But we'll see. I could be very wrong. Lord knows that like these things, like this might just be a pipe dream that I came up with, but the vibes are giving like visual project. And she's saying that it's like a visual project. She's hinted at performances, she's talked about a tour, and we're seeing multiple music videos being shot, but we're not getting the music videos. I feel like she's gonna give us like a movie or something. Like, it's kind of giving that to me, no shade. And like, she seems to really like, with this era, with the little things that we have gotten, with like the teasers and like the performances, it seems like, yes, like a lot of these things do, so admittedly come few and far in between. But I think when she does come, like, it's a gag, and like she's really trying to gag us. And I think that she, like, when we get these visuals, she's really trying to gag us. So I hope that she stays true to her word. I still enjoy the album. If you is like one of my most streamed albums of the year. Not even one of. It is my most streamed album of the year. Hopefully she does go on tour. I would love to see her on tour because she's a great performer. Hopefully we get those visuals. Let me know in the comments if you think she's gonna be dropping like a visual movie or something big with these like music videos. If we get that, or if you don't believe that she will get music videos and you think she just bullshitting us, love to know your thoughts in the comments below. This has been the Cake Radio Show. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to like, comment, turn on notifications, and subscribe, because you get all episodes of the Cake Radio Show on YouTube before you get anywhere else at Cake Radio Show. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platforms, thank you so much for listening. Be sure to follow, turn on notifications, and share it around to your friends and family, and give the show a rating because it helps. I'm gonna talk to y'all tomorrow. I might do another Normani episode in the future, who knows, but I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.